Right, welcome back to Hammond's Upholstery. The sun's decided to come out now. It's chilly though, definitely tell it's autumn. But let's have a walk through and see what we've got going on at the moment. Okay, cushions for collection. These here, cushions for collection. Customers yet to get back to me. These cushions here, the stripy ones, belong to the stripy sofa. Here, that's got to be done. We're modifying that slightly. Not a great deal. We're changing it from zip-on back cushions to reversible back cushions. And they're going to be singular back cushions as well. So as you see here in the joint, I think, if memory serves me well, these are going to be singular rather than two pieces, but I need to check the order for that. Cushions and a chair under there waiting to be collected. Again, the customer's been away. Got a pair of outside chairs. We've got to modify and make cushions for that. Bar stool needs covering. And then we're on with this here, which you're going to join me with. We're recovering these, quite nice diamond effect, and there's the stool, but the customer is just having them in this fabric remnant, this charcoal grey linen, so that's what I'm on with. Not a great deal in the workshop at the moment, but there's stuff up on the board to be collected, so we've got work. Which is good. So I need to put the kettle on and crack on. I'm not sure where I'm going to start with these. I think we'll start with the stool first. So I need to get that dismantled and ripped up, and you can join me for that shortly. Here we have it. So this is relatively straightforward. It's just unpicking. I'll use this for a template as we do normally, and we'll get this made. The fabric is going to be very different to work with. This is a very thick, firm sort of velvet style fabric, so yeah, the linen is going to be a lot softer to work with, so I need to get that ripped up. And then these chairs, we've got a base that's held on with some Allen keys, and again, rip this up and use it as a template. I'm a bit dubious about these because of this quilting effect on here. I'm not sure what I'm going to find underneath. It's at minimum going to need a layer of Lux Bond over everything, I can imagine. So I'll get these ripped up, they shouldn't take too long, and then I'll come back to you when they're ripped up in a few minutes and I've had a cup of tea. There you go. If anybody wants to know, a little bit of milk, 1 sugar, builder's tea, or upholsterer's tea in this case. So yeah, I'll get them stripped and come back to you shortly with that, and we'll see what we find underneath. Right, so here we have the 2 chairs ripped up, or let's say ripped up, the cover's been unpicked. There's just a row of staples around the bottom of the chair on this piece of MDF. It's only very thin. We may struggle a bit there reattaching, but look, they've got springs in them, which is nice to see. It's a steel frame with at best piece of inch foam over it, and then the quilting, instead of using Lux Bond, they've used 1/2 inch foam here, so that's where a lot of the padding comes from. As I said, I think I may struggle a little bit here with covering these, but I think if I put a layer of 8 ounce Lux Bond over these, we should be good to go. Just making the covers as original. I have got some quilted grey fabric, but it's not what the customer picked or chose. Let me grab a piece so I can show you what I'm on about. Right. Let's see. There you go. So this is the grey quilted that I have in stock. Hopefully you can see that there. Again, so it's made up of a luxe bond, a lining, and then that. So it's very similar style to what they have, but the colour let me spin you around, but the colour does not match what they put. You can see here. So that's a no-go, I think. So back to these. Sorry, wobbly camera. Oops. Sorry, wobbly camera. So back to these. We'll luxe bond these up. Should be good to go. The stool is basically a cover on a foam cushion. And here's the board that it's attached to. It's probably about 6mm plywood shaped board. I suspect, to me, that board was in upside down because it doesn't match with the concave, the curve to the top. But we'll do it as it was. The customer hasn't asked me to change that. So first off, let's get on with this stool first. So I'll get the cover off. There's the cushion. Here's the old cover. Looks like whoever made this struggled a little bit. Perhaps they were using a domestic machine to try and sew this. But we can use this as a template, and we'll get that cut of the new fabric, and we'll get this done first. So I'll come back to you once this is cut and sewn, and you can join me when we fit this on here to see how it goes. Okay, so we'll be back soon. Okay, so cover's cut. It's a very, yeah, I think this is going to be quite unforgiving, this, to be honest with you. It's not going to be the nicest fabric to work with, these linens. But here's the cushion. We've given it an additional luxe bond, and here's the stool base. So this goes on this way up on here, and then the cover, this is actually just gets fixed in, and the cover holds it on. I think I could glue this to the foam. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to achieve by gluing it to the foam. Yes, it's going to be fixed and more stable, but it may create an issue. Not entirely sure. It's just that it wasn't glued to the foam, so that's a bit of an alarm bell for me. So do I, Doto? What do you reckon, people? Let's put the cover on and see what the cover goes on like. Pop the base down here. Try and do this without my back to you. Okay. I'm just turning the welt to make sure I've got the welt facing down. I think it's going to fit okay. I am going to glue that board to the phone. Decision made. Right. I just think that it's going to make it a little bit easier to hold everything together. Okay. Being a very thin fabric, you've got to make sure there's nothing underneath here. If there was a staple or something, even a bit of wood, it will show up. So we're going to pull the cover on, turning the welt the right way. And the place to start with this is the corners. So, as you can see, it's a bit tricky. So let's start with a corner. Pull this over. Trying to keep this border or imaginary border equal all the way around. We've got these pleats here, so put it in the centre of the pleat. We'll put a staple in. It does that. New bar staples, for some reason, it doesn't always fire the first staple in. Right, let's go to the opposite corner now. The same again. So we've tried to pull each corner down equally. So now I can infill. Again, I'm going to start in the centre between these two corners here. I don't think I need to pull it over too much. Again, this was very loose fitting cushion. So let's just put, again, so we're dividing and subdividing. So we try to get the same tension in the sides all the way round and going into the pleats on the corner equally. this side looks like it needs pulling just that little bit tighter to match the opposite side. Looks a little bit better. And this end. So we're going to try and keep the tension and the border equal all the way around. It's these little details that make it tricky but give a better finish. I could ignore it and you could end up with a wobbly border all the way around. Doesn't look equal. A lot of people may not pick up on that, but I like to think my customers would, and that's why they come back to me. So trying to fold the pleats under, get a little bit of tension side to side. Do the opposite side now. Making sure the welt is turned the same direction. Right. I'm looking at this, trying to keep the piping parallel all the way around. Very tricky with this particular fabric, and just trying to pull it over a cushion that's very soft. I'll show you how we get on. Can adjust it if necessary. I need to adjust that. I need to loosen that off a bit. So the tension to the corners going diagonally out is where you get the tension in the fabric. So hopefully when you're just infilling the staples, you don't end up with lots and lots of tack ties. Some fabrics are easier to work with than others. Unfortunately, this is one of the worst fabrics to work with. That and silk, raw silk or silk fabrics are very difficult to negotiate around tack ties. And there goes the phone. Go back in a minute. The phone rings. I think it was on this side, that's how it's done. Yes, I was whinging about fabrics. Yes, silk is terrible stuff to work with. If you want silk without tack ties in it, I don't want to say it's virtually impossible, because it isn't impossible. It does depend on what you're upholstering or being asked to do with it. I have done dining chairs previously in silks, and they're very challenging. You can get them looking very clean on one part, and the next part that you pull, it just refuses to come out clean without tack ties. So for those that don't understand what tack ties are, I can try and show you on this. So when ideally you want a nice straight piping, I've got that under tension there to keep it tight, and what you want to avoid is pinches in the fabric. Yes, so yeah, that's basically it, pinching in the fabric. So that's why you need to get the tension side to side, and then you fill in the rest of it by smoothing the fabric over with your hand to hopefully get that in without too many tack ties. Right, and let's get the base up on here and see how that fits. It hasn't got the bottom cloth on it. I'm not putting the bottom cloth on it as of yet, because we want to make sure it works. That's very snug. Right, so it looks like it goes in under tension. Well, it's in, or it will go in. And I think how it works is the piping will then sit on top of this edge here. So we'll put a bottom on that. We'll try and do that quickly so you can see, and we'll try and install this and see what it comes out like. Cut that thread off before I miss it. We have got a little bit of additional stuffing on it, like I said, but that's not going to make much of a difference. There we go. Look at that. That's no good. Can't use that. Got a hole in the back of it. Can you see that? Right there. I can see you. Anyway, that's no good, is it? Find another piece. There you go. Swap staples over for some black ones, albeit I don't think the customers are ever going to take that out. Fold the fabric over, making sure. Right, so the chairs. I've Lux bonded this up using the 8-ounce Lux Bond as normal, because the original cover had the foam or Lux Bond stitched to it. So to save there being any issues without having that on, we've put that on. So here's our cover. Should be a simple case Should be a simple case of slipping it on. Okay, make sure we put it on the right way round. It makes a big difference. Making sure that the salvage is going the way that I want it to, which in this particular case is on the outside back. So I need to move that bit closer to me so I can reach it. Okay, that's going on nicely. So now we have the fly, this piece here, which is in the centre of the back. It goes through the seat. This is what gives us the nice V letterbox, whatever you want to call it, down here. Okay, pull the front of the seat over. Okay, so that's gone on really well. So we just need to make sure that the fabric's pulled down here to create the letterbox at the back. Try and turn that around so you can see. Okay, so that's going to work out lovely. So I'm just going to start putting some staples on. We'll start with the front corner here because it's pulling backwards there when I'm pulling that letterbox. So we'll put a staple in the front corners to make sure they stay where we want them. Try and pull them down equally. Let's keep that border straight. Okay, so now we're going to start with these corners to try and get these creases out here. We may need to add a little bit of stuffing in there. I don't know till I get to the individual corners, but easing that over, making sure I've got the salvage on the stitching where I want it. Okay. Right, so we've still got a bit of wrinkle in there, but as you see when I pull this down, that pulls that out. So let's give that a pull. So with things like this, the most important thing is your accuracy in your cutting of your fabric and your sewing. The more accurate you are with that, using the original as a template, the simpler it is to install it. So I'm just going to ease the sides over. I'm looking down it all the time to try and make sure I'm keeping it smooth without any tack ties in it. Again, like I said previously, this is not the easiest fabric to work with. It does tend to show up everything, every little lump and bump. I'm only using 6mm staples because the MDF is only about 6mm deep, and behind the MDF is a steel frame. And if I try and staple in the steel frame, well, you can guess what's going to happen. The staples are just going to bend over and not go in all the way. And when I'm working so close with my hands to the tip of the staple gun, when those staples bend up, it can be quite painful. Right, now before I pull that fly down in the centre of the seat here, I'm going to staple the front off and then pull it down. That will give me some tension in the cover. So that's this front stapled off. Now we're going to put some tension in this here. So hopefully I can pull this, so just give it a tug down. There we go. And now the back. Try not to have my back to you. My apologies if I do. Need to staple the outside back canvas down. Now we can do the fabric itself. So I'm sure you can see how they can do these on a production line so quickly. If you're doing these all day, you'll certainly upholster them quicker than I have, and it hasn't taken me long to put the cover on that myself. So this is why this stuff is produced relatively cheaply. Right, there we go. So there you have it, the cover's on. It's come out, fits quite nicely actually. It's come out better than I expected. So let's just get the bottom cloth on it, and then we'll be pretty much done. Now the bottom cloth, I can't put the actual frame for the seat is recessed in here, which makes it a little bit awkward doing the bottom cloth because I can't pull it tight. Because if I do, it's going to make it difficult to get the bottom cloth on itself. So I'm going to start off with just doing it in the centre. I don't want to pull it tight, like I say. It's quite tricky to judge how tight I can. I can't pull this actually. If the screws were longer, it'd be easier, but they're not particularly long. Let's mark a hole for one and see if we can get the first one in and take it from there. Oh yes, we're also missing a screw, so I've had to improvise. Right, that's one in. Let's see if I can see where the other hole is, or feel it. Yep, there it is. Let's try getting. We'll use the replacement one I've got. That's the screws that are in it, and this is what I'm going to have to use to replace the missing one. So I don't have any of them in. We'll put this one at the back because it might be more awkward to install. I don't know. I just need to get it going. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the right one. So same process with the front. Try and mark the screw fitting. There's the hole. Oh, missing the washer. We got the washers, so let's use them. Now you would think if I've got the back two lined up, the front one should line up automatically, wouldn't you? Doesn't appear to be that simple. There it is. That one in. Punch the whole line out with this one. Right, so that's the 4 of them in. They're not done up tight yet because I need to finish the cloth. I put the cloth off. Just a side note, I've been asked now and again about my t-shirts, etc. For example, this one here. I collect them from bike rallies that I've been to throughout the year. This was the Excalibur rally I went to a couple of years ago. Great rally, great bunch of people. Unfortunately, they weren't able to hold a rally this year. Hopefully next year they will be able to. So if you're part of a motorcycle club here in the UK and want to send me your souvenir t-shirts, I'll be glad to accept them and proudly wear them on my channel here. And even for the matter of fact, anywhere in the world, if you hold bike rallies, you'll have the t-shirts. Look forward to seeing them. Right, so I need to stand that up. We're running out of battery. There you go, done. 2 chairs and the stool ready to go back to the customer. I'll take some pictures and add them to the end of this vlog so you can see what the finished items look like. As always, hope you enjoyed this. These aren't meant to be instructional, it's entertainment to show you what's going on in the workshop here. So I hope you enjoy it and we'll see you in the next one. Send me your rally t-shirts. I'm a large, UK large. Okay, cheerio for now, bye bye.